What's the most heartbreaking thing you've heard about yourself? I was 16 when I found out why my dad really left. Growing up, my mom always told me the same story. Dad left when I was 8 because his job transferred him across the country. He was working so much that visits were impossible. Phone calls were rare because of time zones and his crazy schedule. The child support checks came every month like clockwork, which my mom said proved he still cared, even if he couldn't be there. As a kid, I used to save up my allowance to buy him Father's Day cards that I'd never send. I'd write them anyway, telling him about my soccer games, my grades, my friends. Then I'd hide them in a shoebox under my bed. By high school, I had dozens of unsent cards and letters. When I struggled with ADHD and my grades started slipping in middle school, I convinced myself that's why he stayed away. If I could just fix myself, maybe he'd want to see me again. I spent hours every night doing homework that should have taken minutes. While other kids played video games, I was in my room with flashcards and practice tests. My mom would find me asleep at my desk, surrounded by crumpled papers and erasers worn down to nothing. Teachers started calling home about my anxiety. I'd have panic attacks before tests. A few times my mom mentioned him, her face would get this strange look. She'd quickly change the subject or find something urgent to clean. I thought she missed him too much to talk about it. Every Christmas, I'd ask if Dad might visit. Every birthday, I'd wonder if this would be the year he'd call. But Mom would always say he was traveling for work or in meetings. By sophomore year, I'd started getting suspicious. In the age of cell phones and social media, my mom had Facebook, but she never mentioned seeing any posts from him. When I asked if I could look him up online, she'd get that same weird expression and say technology wasn't his thing. I began paying closer attention to things that didn't add up. The way Mom would hide his child support checks like they were something shameful. The fact that we'd moved twice since he left, both times when I'd asked about visiting him. Then there was the drinking. Mom had always been a social drinker, but over the years, especially around holidays and my birthday, she'd drink more. I'd find her crying sometimes, holding old photo albums. When I asked what was wrong, she'd say she was just tired. The night everything changed was Christmas Eve. I'd been doing homework upstairs when I got thirsty. Mom thought I was asleep. I always went to bed early on Christmas Eve. I was supposed to grab water and go back upstairs. That was the plan. Instead, I heard my mom's voice, slurred and broken, coming from the kitchen. "Sarah keeps asking when Daddy's coming home," my mom said into the phone. I don't know how to tell her the truth. I froze on the stairs. Something in her voice made my stomach drop. "Maybe it's time," my aunt said. I could hear her voice through the speaker. "She's old enough now. How do I explain that he didn't leave because of work? How do I tell my daughter that her own father said she was different? That he couldn't handle having a kid who wasn't normal?" The words hit me like a physical blow. He said watching her try so hard and still fail at everything was too depressing. That he wanted a kid he could be proud of, not one he had to make excuses for. He sends money because he has to, but he told me he never wants to see her again. Seeing her reminds him of his disappointment. I ran upstairs and cried until my eyes were swollen shut. For years, I told myself maybe I misheard. Last month, my dad texted me for the first time in 10 years. He'd seen my college graduation photo on Facebook. His message, "Congratulations, I'm surprised you made it this far." I screenshot it and sent it to my mom with, "Now I know why you drink on Christmas," and I blocked his number forever.